So yeah, I think that communication is like a big one. And like you mentioned, sometimes you hold someone accountable for something that you haven't really explicitly said. So, and I think that's also like learned in childhood, the way we communicate about our needs, because we're taught to suppress those. And then if you actually state them, you're the bad person and you're guilty and shamed for having needs, even. So, and we'll get to more of that later, but I wanted to start your session now. So, thanks for the little background. And let's just have you go into a very relaxed place. So literally just dropping everything, dropping your body into your comfortable seat here, relaxing everything from head to toes. And I'm gonna dim the light slightly, actually. Don't really care for the lights in here. There we go, that's much better. Okay, and taking a few deep inhales and exhales from the nose, and you're going to exhale from the mouth, allowing your body to completely drop. A few more breaths this way. Deep inhale, deep exhale. One more deep breath, really engaging your entire ribcage as you breathe. Now I want you to bring yourself into the feeling of being in control. Just really feeling that feeling with all of its nuances. Like, how does it feel in your body? What are the triggers that bring it about? Just kind of put yourself in that space of wanting to be. Keep that breath deep. Bring that feeling. And then I want you to locate this feeling in your body. Find the spot in your body where you feel this feeling. And you can share that with me if you like. Neck. Okay, that makes a lot of sense all of a sudden. Okay, so just place your attention there on your neck and in that space. And breathe into that sensation. I want you to bring all of your attention, all your mindfulness into your neck. Just breathing here, paying attention to anything that's coming up. And I would like you to share with me any other sensations or emotions that come up as you place your attention on this sensation.
It felt like tension, but now it's like since I'm breathing through it, it's like releasing it.
Mm-hmm. What else? Any emotions? Anything else? No emotions at all. Is there like sadness or guilt? Any of those emotions at all?
Maybe I'm tired.
What about feelings of wanting to fight or flight, hide or numb?
Yeah, usually it would be fight or flight,
Fight and flight.
anxiety.
Okay. Anything else? And keep breathing and take your time. There's no rush. Just allow that sensation to be there and look at it. Sort of look at it with some loving care. And tell me if there's anything else that you find.
Only a little bit of like anger and resentment.
Resentment. Okay. Anything else? Now, is this sensation inside the body or outside? Do you feel this feeling of control coming from inside you or from outside you? Could be both.
Not probably both, but it feels more like inside. That's what I'm feeling in my body.
Okay. Okay. Stay with the sensation. Stay with all of this that you just said and breathe into it. Deep inhales from the nose. Exhale. I want you to really breathe and use the breath to help resolve and dissolve the sensation that's in your neck. So with every exhale that you take, I want you to visualize this feeling releasing from your body and dropping into the earth. Keep breathing as deep as you can into your lungs, staying with that sensation. Knowing that it's safe to be in your body and to allow those feelings to surface. And as you do this, I'd like you to acknowledge that your identity is different than the sensation of the tension. Your identity is different than the feeling of heaviness. Your identity, who you are as a person, is different than feeling pressure. Your identity is different than feeling tired. Your identity is different than wanting to fight. Your identity is different than wanting to run. Your identity is different than feeling anxious. Your identity is different than the feeling of resentment. Deep inhale into that knowing and exhaling it all out, feeling the resolution of the sensation, releasing down into earth. Also acknowledging that your identity is different than feeling in control, and your identity is different than feeling that you're out of control. Acknowledging that in reality, you are never in control of anything. Deep inhale, exhale into this knowing. Now, taking your time, we're going to come back into the room slowly. I'm going to count to 5. You can open your eyes and feel free to share anything that has come up for you in the meantime. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Staying in this relaxed place and just sharing any insights, anything, any colors, any sensations, anything whatsoever that came up as you went into this feeling.
The pressure and tension started in my neck, but then I felt it after, like in my head, like in my temples. And I feel that that's because I'm looking through my mind a lot, even though like I became aware that like I'm learning and I should be looking through my heart. I still struggle with like my thoughts and probably just like the lifelong programming that I'm aware of it, but I think sometimes I just slip back into like my old patterns.
Okay. Anything else come up for you?
Mhm.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. So we're going to go back into that space before I close the session. And I want you to breathe again into that sensation. You can bring your attention into your head, as you mentioned, and the pressure there. And again, breathe into that sensation and see if anything comes up for you over in that area. Deep inhales, exhales. You can inhale and exhale from the nose here. And just let me know if there's any other emotions that come up here, or if there's any instincts like wanting to run and hide or fight. Deep, deep breaths into that sensation. Acknowledging that your identity is different than the feeling of pressure in your head. Acknowledging that your identity is different than that of your mind. Acknowledging that your identity is different than being self-critical. Acknowledging that your identity is different than living in hurt. Deep inhale. Exhale. Noticing if this sensation is inside or outside your body, and please share.
I feel that the sensation is inside. Something else that comes up is like maybe some sadness, like I want to cry. Like 2 years ago, like I suffered from a lot of anxiety. I think it was just like everything was too much and too much like trying to control things. And I learned that a very easy way for me to like release was actually crying. Something that I wouldn't do before maybe 2 years ago. Like I just kept it all inside and tried to be strong. And so like when I finally like cried, like I realized that was like the easiest way to just release for me and feel like balanced again and like go back and pressure, stress and that fight.
Are you feeling like you need to cry now? Are you suppressing that feeling? So allowing the crying is okay. Free to cry. No judgment on my part. That's all. But I'm sensing a lot of self-judgment and a lot of inner critic showing up. Because you use the word should. Like there's something that you should and shouldn't be doing. Like you should be in your heart as opposed to your. I'm also sensing that this should is not coming from you, it's coming from your mother, which is literally confirming to me why it's been hard for you to let go of control because your mother is controlling. She is in your space right now. You are co-inhabiting the same space. So it makes perfect sense why your energies are commingled. There needs to be some boundary setting, if that makes sense. I have a sense of the difficulty for you to set boundaries. So that will be your work. But then this is a good start because we could actually begin to set them today. So let's breathe into that knowing. Deep inhales, deep exhales. Imagine the light helping you clear any of this energy that's been taken from others. As you breathe into that energy, visualize the release of the entanglement. Anything that is not yours will fall away with every exhale. And with every inhale, you will strengthen your resolve and strengthen your empowerment, bringing back your sovereignty. So inhale, you are sovereign. Exhale, you set clear boundaries in a loving way. Let's keep inhaling and exhaling, feeling the sensations that do not belong to you dissolving and dissolving into the earth. Deep inhale and exhale, acknowledging that you are not the sadness that you feel. This does not belong to me. Acknowledging that you are not the feeling of wanting to cry. Your identity is different than wanting to cry. Your identity is different than wanting to suppress this feeling of wanting to cry. Your identity is different than wanting to control. Your identity is different than being out of control. Your identity is different than the identity of your mother. Your identity is different than the feeling of resentment. Your identity is different than feeling anxious. Your identity is different than wanting to fight. Your identity is different than wanting to run. Your identity is different than feeling heavy. Your identity is different than feeling tense. And all of these feelings and sensations are different than each other. Acknowledging that feelings come and go, emotions rise and they subside. Acknowledging that they do not belong to who you are. Acknowledging that you are now here in this moment. Also acknowledging that the past no longer applies to the present. Deep inhale and exhale, allowing for those emotions to completely release from the body. Acknowledging that from this day forward, you will set clear boundaries. Acknowledging that this way you will not need to feel in control. Deep inhales and exhales. You can stay in this place, stay with this exhaling, releasing, allowing the release, feeling the breath assisting you with the release, knowing you are safe and protected in a white light that surrounds your entire body as you process all of this. And I'll just give it a few minutes and then we'll close this session energetically. If you feel the need to paint after, you're welcome to. I will provide those. You will paint in silence. If not, then you will stay here laying down for as long as you need to. And I'll let you know once this session is closed. Session is closed. You can take your time from here to come back into the space. Your time to open your eyes and come back to seated and just sharing about your experience. No rush at all. I will go and grab some